tell you a story about me and you. Out on the water, surrounded by the blue. They scream that only I'll be saved. They toss off the line, but I just let it float away. Yeah, I let it float away. I let it float away. I let it float away. Float away, float away. I let it float away. I let it float away.
Last time on Sailing Zatara.
After spending 2 weeks in St. Martin, we decided to skip the rest of the Lesser Antilles and set sail 500 miles straight down to Bonaire. We sailed with dolphins, we discussed weather and intimacy, and overall had a great 4-day nonstop sail.
Bonaire is often called the diver's paradise, and we definitely agree with that. Although there are no big headed corals like we saw up in the Run Key, there's lots of coral right off the back of the boat and a wall, 150 foot wall right off the back of the boat. We spent 2 weeks diving and snorkeling all around the island, enjoying the crystal clear water and amazing underwater sea life. Before we go diving, we kick on the generator and top off our tanks with our Bauer Scuba compressor. It takes about 25 minutes to fill a mostly empty tank. At Kralendijk, they set up these giant mooring blocks for our boats, so we drop in and take Finn and Kate down. We practice a few emergency drills and then spend a couple of minutes at the reef wall, which is directly below our boat. For obvious reasons, anchoring is strictly prohibited all around the island of Bonaire. We always put a weighted line at 15 foot deep on the back of our boat to guide us back and to help us with our safety stop, or the young'uns with their safety stop, because they're still practicing their buoyancy.
Behind the scenes. You're behind the scenes.
We're both behind the scenes.
We're all behind the scenes.
Then where's the front of the scenes?
Look at this. Me and Keith needed a little time away from the boat and the kids, so we rented a scooter and explored the island. The north end of Bonaire is rocky and hilly and real dry. But the south end is flat and windy, making for great windsurfing and great kiteboarding. We checked out the kiteboarding beach, and then Keith decided he wanted to practice his kiteboarding skills too.
Yeah, filling up some tanks, getting ready to dive.
We sailed over to the salt mine on the southwest side of the island because we were told there was beautiful diving there. We had to gather our gear and dinghy over to the dive site. Jack was having ear problems on this trip, so he didn't get to dive, but he dropped us off in the dinghy, and then we swam with the current back to our boat. The pier was so cool, and the reef was just as alive and colorful as it was back on our mooring block. Anna always gets worried if I lag behind taking videos, so she's always paying attention, keeping track of her mommy. When we're done, we disassemble and rinse our gear and get it set up and ready for the next dive.
We decided we'd go out and practice Man Overboard procedures in the nice bay on the west side of Bonaire.
Third time charm. All right.
We started with our red inflatable, who we call George.
Keep swimming, George. George, keep swimming.
We finally rescued George. Then we let Kate jump in and we rescued her.
My hand slipped off the rope and I grabbed this.
We all took turns at different stations so we could get an idea of what to do in an actual emergency.
Okay, turn
All right.
into the wind so we stop. Throw that out, Dad.
No, all right, here we're going to turn into the wind.
Then Jack jumps in unexpectedly, so we rescue him. We simulated the platform being up and practiced hoisting the victim from the side of the boat. It was somewhat of a cluster at first, trying to figure out the best way to get that done.
There you go. Okay, I'm going to put him on our starboard side. We got a hold of our...
Here we go, Sunday.
All right, take a look.
Within about 5 minutes, we rescued Jack, although he theoretically drowned already.
Cody. All right, Kate. Start the camera.
Keith just jumped overboard, and did I really just tell Jack to start the camera?
Throw that.
Actually, we have to wait now. Okay.
Always got to start the camera.
I decided that they needed to know what it would be like to get me out of the water, because they ain't going to be able to lift me up over the side of the boat. So I jumped in.
Shut your mouth. We're just gonna leave you there.
Renee was mounting the helm, and they had to figure out how to get back to me just on sail. We were not using the engines, we weren't using bow thrusters, they were just using sail.
Yeah, but the wind is going to push me into him, so y'all be quick to throw this.
He's got hypothermia.
And so they had to figure out how to get me hoisted up using a halyard of some sort and get me on the boat.
All right, Anna. Good
Chance to get me up to the boat. Yeah.
Good. He's coming up.
Somebody crank it?
And they succeeded. It took a while to get it organized, but they now know what they got to do, and that worked out pretty good.
I need to do CPR on you. Come on,
All right.
He's alive. CPR.
Probably not.
Me and Mom enjoy a little shallow diving again. I like playing in the sand and I like doing flips in the water. I love diving because all the coral and the fishes and the angelfish come right up next to you.
For the record, we don't put toilet paper in the toilet any longer. If you've watched our channel, you know that we've had issues with clogged heads. So now we put toilet paper in the trash can. And it sounds kind of gross, but after you do it a while, you get used to it. It's really not a big deal. We get our gear set up for yet another dive off the back of the boat for me, Keith, and Anna. Bonaire is so alive with reef fish, and these giant French angelfish were not shy at all. The water is crystal clear and a mild 78 degrees. We didn't even bother with wetsuits, although I did get a little chilled after about a 45-minute dive, but it's just not worth the trouble of a wetsuit, in my opinion. At the end of our dive, we find our boat line and complete our safety stop, while Finn free dives down to greet us. I think we probably dove about 10 times during these 2 weeks in Bonaire. It just never gets old.
So tune in next time as we leave Bonaire and the ABC Islands and sail to the coast of Panama and the San Blas Islands.